Welcome back to FM Storey. We're approaching the midway point of Season 8 of the Glory Hunt, our first season with Real Madrid, and we could not have started this season any better. We've won 14 out of 14 in the League. We've won 5 from 5 in the Champions League. Coming up in this episode, we've got some big games in the League, coming up against Athletic, Serie, and a home game against Atletico. And we've also got the beginning of the Copa as well. So without further ado, let's get into the action. We're in the middle of December. We've got a game coming up against Athletic, which is our last game before a bit of a break at Christmas. Since the end of the last episode, things haven't exactly gone brilliantly in the league. First up, we drew 2-2 against Numancia. We took the lead. They got 2 goals in quick succession just before half-time to go 2-1 up, and we required an 85th minute penalty to rescue a point there. And then Betis, we weren't great. We missed a penalty. They took the lead. Eduardo with a late equaliser to rescue another point there. And then in the most recent game in the Champions League, we made it 6 wins out of 6 with a 2-0 victory away against Sporting Lisbon. What that means as far as the Champions League is concerned is we were already guaranteed to finish in the top 8 of the league phase. We've got 18 points from those 6 games. In fact, from 6 games, we've managed to keep 4 clean sheets as well. And then, as far as the league's concerned, those 2 draws have tightened things up a bit. We're 6 points clear of Atletico, having played the same number of games. We're 12 points clear of Real Sociedad, having played a game more. And we are 15 points clear of Barcelona. So things are still pretty strong. It's just, obviously, if we'd won those 2 games that we've drawn, we'd be even further out in front. Coming up next, we've got a game against Athletic, who have had a pretty bad start to the season. They're sat down there in 18th with just 12 points from the opening 16 games. So hopefully we can get ourselves back on track in this game, pick up 3 points before the break, to give us something to go on from in the second half of the season. So this is the side we've picked for the game against Athletic Club. We are resting a few players. We only have one player that's completely not available, which is Fede Valverde, who's still out with his broken foot. We have given a rest to Diamande, to Arda Güler, to Eduardo, to Matheus Sula. They've played a lot of football in recent weeks, so they're having a rest. We should still have enough, hopefully, to get 3 points against a team that are currently sat in 18th in the table. So again, we're going up against a team playing a 4-2-3-1. Right, Perkovic with a throw. Lobaton into Neves. He finds Rodrigo on the right, driving into the box. Smashes it across Unai Simon into the top corner. And something that we've not done in those last 2 games where we've drawn those last 2 league games, we've got off to a quick start. Wide to Rodrigo. Lots of space, just drives into the box. As soon as the defender comes across to him, he fires it high above Unai Simon into the top of the net and makes it 1-0. Scalvini with a free kick. Chips it down the wing for Rodrigo. Bellingham into Lobaton, back to Rodrigo. Squares it, and it ends up in the arms of Unai Simon. Right, Simon goes long with the goal kick. Camavinga nods it down for Vinicius Jr. It goes out wide to Perkovic, who drives down that left-hand side. Tries to pull it back to the edge of the area. Now they're going to break. Long ball up. Scalvini wins a header. Perkovic to Neves. Bisek to Perkovic. Crosses towards the back post. Simon comes and punches. Hakimi back to Neves. Rodrigo, somehow that's gone in, and that's 2-0. It seemed, I don't know whether he's taken it early and taken the keeper by surprise, but Hakimi goes back to Neves, and then it comes to Hakimi, and Rodrigo takes a shot and just seems to sort of side foot it, and the keeper got his hands to it but couldn't keep it out. Right, a free kick on the edge of the box. Rodrigo's stepping up to take it, looking for his hat-trick. lifts it over the wall, and Unai Simon turns it behind for a corner. Neves with the corner, the outswinger towards the far post, and Bissek heads it over the top. Right, Neves with another corner, this time from the other side, again towards the back post. It's headed away from Bissek. Rodrigo picks it up. Finds Lobaton in the box. He goes down. And then Danny Vivian gives it away back to Rodrigo. And then Bellingham just couldn't keep it down. Long goal kick for them. Scalvini wins the header. Rodrigo out wide to Vinicius Jr. He gives it away, but Bellingham wins it back. Vinicius Jr. finds Camavinga. He fires it across the keeper. And that's 3-0, right on the stroke of half-time. And unless we completely collapse in the second half, we put an end to that run of successive draws. Camavinga just gets it out in front of him from the corner of the 6-yard box, fires it into the far corner for 3-0. And there we go, half-time, 3-0. Truly dominant performance in pretty much every metric there. And just more of the same in the second half, I think. Right, with one change at half-time. We just given Jude Bellingham a bit of a rest and brought Eduardo on and dropped Lobaton back into the two in midfield with Camavinga. Not much happening to start the second half, but Venktor with a free kick for them. Low into the box. Imanol pulls it back. Lobaton nicked it and then plays it up to Vinicius Jr., who's running at the defence, waiting for support to get up alongside him. He still has it. Drifts infield. Bissek to Lobaton, helps it onto Rodrigo in the box. And there we go, he's completed his hat-trick and made it 4-0. Great counter-attack from their free kick. And Vinicius Jr. drifts infield. Bissek brings it forward. Lobaton just shifts it on. Rodrigo takes a touch to get out of his feet and then passes it into the far corner. And then from the kick-off, Venktor bringing it forward. Perkovic wins the ball. Neves to Perkovic again. Vinicius Jr. Neves to Eduardo. Scalvini to Rodrigo. He goes down under a challenge from Imanol, who's already been booked. And I think they're getting reduced to 10 men here. Yep. Right, Neves with a corner into the near post. It's headed clear as far as Eduardo. Back to Neves. Bissek finds Perkovic from distance. And it ripples the top of the net as it goes over. Right, free kick to us in a shooting position. It's Rodrigo that's going to take it. Lifts it over the wall, and Simon again turns it behind for another corner. Right, Neves with the corner. Aims it in towards the near post. It's headed away from Scalvini. Eduardo finds Neves in the box. Drifts infield, puts it in the back of the net, but he was offside. Right, Neves with the corner. This time towards the far post. Again, it's headed clear. Vinicius Jr. picks up the ball, loses out, but Hakimi back to Vinicius Jr. Inside ball to Neves, and I think he was offside. He seemed to be too far behind the defence to have been onside when that pass was made. And yeah, it's been disallowed. It's a nice little reverse pass by Vinicius Jr., but he's well offside. Right, Scalvini with a free kick. Short to Rodrigo, into Lobaton. Pulls it back. Eduardo's shot is turned behind by Unai Simon. And although he was maybe culpable for the one of the other Rodrigo goals, he's kept the score down. But unfortunately, Eduardo straight back on the attack from the corner, heads home, and that's 5-0. just lifts it into the box. Simon kind of half came for it. Got nowhere near it. Eduardo heads home. Right, Rodrigo with a free kick wide on the right. Low to Lobaton into the box. Drifts past his man, fires across the keeper, and that's 6-0. We had all the centre halves up. They weren't expecting the sort of slide pass down the side, drifts past that man who didn't make much of an attempt to get to him, and finishes it for 6-0. Right, deep into injury time, Cesar Ramirez with a throw, Lobaton back to him. Neves heads it forwards, Ricci into the box and fires it high over the bar. And there we go, full time, 6-0, ends that run of successive draws and gets us back on winning ways. We're now into the middle of January and we've got a big game coming up against Atletico Madrid. Top versus second. There's an 8-point gap between us at the moment. If we win, we go 11 points clear at the top. But since the Athletic Club game, we've had a pretty spectacular run of games. We've managed to pick up a trophy. We've also made some signings as well. So in terms of the transfer market, we have sold Bremer, who only came to the club on a free transfer in the summer. He wasn't happy about the lack of game time he was getting. He was out of contract at the end of the season anyway, so he's gone out for 7 million. And then we've signed some young defensive midfield players. We went back to Napoli, picked up Ewan Andre, who we signed last season for Napoli, to be a backup left back behind Perkovic, so that we don't have to play Camavinga there. Just incredible physicals down that side, good going forward as well, and not too bad defensively either. So hopefully he can be a steady backup for us. Then with Bremer going, we've gone to Borussia Mönchengladbach and signed Karsten Backinger. Very physical player, big, strong, good defensively, 16 marking, 16 tackling. Just a real promising. He's only 19 as well. He's played twice for Germany. Just an outstanding player by the looks of it. And he's come in to sort of back up Diamande and Scalvini in that Bremer role. And then one of the other areas we've been a bit short of is the defensive midfield role. So we've gone to Fiorentina and we've picked up Alessandro Tartaglioni, who can play in that defensive midfield role. At a push can play centre half, although at 5'11", he's not great. He's got 15 for heading, but his jumping reach isn't great. But those physicals, the mentals, sort of the work rate, the teamwork, the positioning, the composure, the bravery, the aggression, as someone who can step in if we need to play him in that defensive midfield role. And again, only 20, he's played twice for Italy. Just a really, really promising player there. And then since the Athletic Club game, the first game on New Year's Day, we went away to Girona and hammered them 5-0. We were 3-0 up at half time, a couple of goals in the second half as well. We then went away to Sevilla on the weekend after that, and a comfortable 4-0 victory in the end. And then the Super Coppa. So in the semi-final, we played Real Betis and hammered them. We were 4-0 up in under half an hour. We ended up winning 6-1. And then the final against Atletico, we came away with a 4-3 victory. We were 2-0 up. They pulled a goal back. We went straight up the other end to make it 3-1. They then pulled another goal back to make it 3-2. We scored just before half-time to go 4-2 up. They got a late goal, but we managed to hold on for the victory to pick up our first bit of trophy, first bit of silverware of the season in the Super Coppa. Obviously, it doesn't mean anything as far as the Glory Hunt save is concerned, but hopefully a victory over Atletico with the home game against them in La Liga coming up straight away. Hopefully just that victory gives us a bit of an advantage going into that game. And hopefully, as we say, we can expand that lead at the top of La Liga to 11 points. So this is the side we've picked for the Madrid derby. It's pretty much just about our strongest team. You would argue, I mean, obviously Valverde, if he was fit, would come in, and then potentially Matías Soula or Rodrigo would start instead of Lobaton, but Rodrigo's out injured as well. And hopefully it's good enough to get 3 points, and hopefully we don't concede the 3 goals that we conceded in the last game. Also, in that Super Coppa final, Atletico did miss a penalty as well. Right, so Slonina with a goal kick goes short. Pavlovic across the box to Newman. Sturgeon to Newman. We did look at Newman a couple of times when we were at Man City and he was at Sheffield United, but he's obviously got a big move here. Camavinga finds Ricci. Lobaton just knocks it on to Vinicius Jr. in the box. Fires across the goal. What a start that is. Less than 6 minutes on the clock. And we've gone 1-0 up. So Camavinga to Samuel Ricci. Lobaton just knocks it on first time. Vinicius Jr. cutting in. Fires it with the outside of his right foot. In off the far post. And that's 1-0. Right, Newman with a free kick for them. Goes down the line, but Anthony shifts it on. Struijk finds Samu. I don't know what they're checking for this for. I mean, it's surely not offside. And that was just, we've let them straight back into the game pretty much. I mean, how this got past 2 of our players. And then we're behind. And it was just, yeah. Not at our best there. It's well onside as well. Arda with the free kick. It's headed on and just drifts. It looked like it was going to loop into the back of the net for a second, but it just loops wide of the post. And not an awful lot's happening as this half continues on. Arda with a free kick towards the back post. Scalvini gets his head on it, but it's on the roof of the net. There we are, half-time 1-1. We've not been good enough at all. We've not had enough of the ball. We need to be a lot better in the second half. We've sent the same team out to start the second half, give them a chance to get ourselves back in front before we change things around. Absolutely nothing's happened in the second half so far. We've brought Matías Soula on for Arda because he's not had the best of games. Right, into the last 10 minutes, and very, very little's happened in the second half. And a pretty dull game. I mean, we've had plenty of shots in the second half, but none of them were that great because we've not seen many highlights. I suppose at least we didn't lose. We keep the gap at the top to 8 points. So not the end of the world, but certainly a bit of a concerning performance. We are now at the end of January. The transfer window's closed. We've not done any more business in the transfer window. And we've ended the episode on a slight downer. League-wise, everything's been relatively fine. But unfortunately, the Copa del Rey went badly, badly wrong. Immediately after that draw against Atletico, we played Castellon in the Copa del Rey. We'd already played 5 games in the first half of January. So we picked a rotated team. We brought some senior players off the bench. And then we lost 1-0. They scored a screamer, hit the underside of the bar and went over the line. And obviously we're out with the Copa del Rey, so we're not going to be able to win that in Season 1. So we're going to need at least another season in Spain. Hopefully we manage to get the title and stay with Real Madrid to do this. And then we went a home game against Panathinaikos in the Champions League. Pretty comfortable 3-1 victory with that rotated team that lost to Castellon. We then just about snuck a win away at Real Sociedad with a late goal off the bench from Ruben Neves. And then in the most recent game, we won 3-0 in the Champions League phase against Galatasaray. That means that we've ended the league phase of the Champions League, top of the table. We've won 8 from 8, and we go through to the last 16. And as far as the league is concerned, we're still top of the table, still unbeaten in the league this season. We're 8 points clear of Atletico at the top, 16 points clear of Real Sociedad, and 18 points clear of Barcelona. And there we have it. We're past the midway point of Season 8, our first season in Spain with Real Madrid. And as far as the league's concerned, it's outstanding. Unbeaten after 21 games, top of the table, 8 points clear. We've won every game in the Champions League. Not that the Champions League matters as far as the Glory Hunter save is concerned going onwards. Unfortunately, we've gone out in the third round of the Copa del Rey, embarrassingly, against Castellon. Coming up in the next episode, we've got some big games away at Barcelona and at home to Valencia in La Liga. Hopefully we can crack on with this great run of form, build a lead at the top, and get this title sorted as quickly as possible. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.